Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you. Hello, welcome to episode 135 of 15 Minutes of Genius. I like that number, 135. It's equal, 1, 3, and 5. So let me move to the middle here. So yeah, we bring on a lot of great guests, people that have interesting brands that are innovative, different, and you get a lot of functionality out of it. So I think that's what's really hot in the food and beverage space right now. Bring on also investors, consultants, people of all walks of life. So it's a great show. Make sure to give us 5 stars on Apple Podcast. Spotify, I don't know if they have freaking stars, but if whatever their rating system is on Spotify, make sure to give us the most positive rating you can. Big plug to Mark Nicholas, Mark at ManhattanBeachStudios.net. He is the guy running this show. That's Matt, not Mark. But Mark, you can show yourself for a second. There you are. Okay. He's in the van down by the river. So, sometimes, he's getting used to the van. So that's why the editing's still a little bit unpredictable. But you got to see our guest. Now, the question is, you know who the hell he is just from seeing him for 3 seconds. There he is again. All right, can you guess? Who is this man? Who is this man? Da-na-na-na. Okay. All right, so let me go into an intro with this guy. There's no script. We just chat on this podcast. All right, so a Weller life doesn't have to be so hard. We believe, this is their company, we believe everyone deserves to feel exactly how they want to feel. That feelings of wellness, vitality, and optimization should be available and attainable. Key, the violins. Raise the violins up to all of us every day. Drums come in and should never be prohibitively expensive, time-consuming, or intimidating. Wellness on demand. Weller. Created products with real life in mind. Our clean label, convenient, drums crashing, violins up, all the music up, the conductor going crazy. Always delicious beverages meet you where you are and are beyond easy to integrate into your everyday whenever you want them. Our guest is Matt Oscamou. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good.
Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
We had probably the funniest, weirdest, strangest. I'm surprised you're still on. I mean, after that intro, you're like, dude, what the fuck is going on here? And you
I love it. This is great. This is probably the most fun I've had all day. That's for sure.
That's what we're here for. We do not disappoint. It's somewhere between genius and insanity, probably a little bit of both. All right, so let's get into about your product, about the history. I actually, by the way, this man, I met Matt at Expo West. It was my last day there. It was Saturday. I was walking out. He was the last booth that I stopped at. I'm like, oh, Weller, I know Weller. And then I met you. We talked for a few minutes. I think we were both tired from the show. And I said, man, I'd love to have you on our
Yeah,
podcast, 15 Minutes of Genius. You're like, hell yeah, let's do it. Here's my email. Here we are, 2
that's
weeks
right.
later. Boom. Happens just like that. Thanks for being on.
Incredible. Thanks for having me. Absolutely. It's great to be here.
So talk to us about your story, about the product, about
Yeah.
Weller, about CBD, about THC. Tell us more about your story.
All right. Will do. So we started Weller back in 2017. Back then, that was before the Farm Bill passed, which legalized hemp in a broader sense than what it was in the 2014 Farm Bill. And, my partner, John Simmons, and we both come from the natural products industry. He had a chai tea company called Third Street that was one of the leading chai tea companies and the RTD beverages as well. Amazingly successful company, which was really great. And back in 2017, both of us were like really interested in what cannabis was about to do. And so we wanted to get involved in some way, shape, or form. And back then, before things started to really, I'll say, move out of orange jumpsuit territory, we were dancing around with a few things, trying to figure out the right moves to get CBD incorporated into beverage products and food products back then. And when we finally were able to launch our CBD infused sparkling water, we had the eye on going into a category that really didn't exist, helping to create it and lead the charge, and do it in a way that really broke away from some of the stereotypes that persisted around hemp and cannabis in general. Where we think of we call it the enthusiast crowd. The folks that are just want to smoke pot, but they're going to go into the CBD space because that's close enough. So we wanted to create a brand that was approachable, that was convenient, then delivered on everything we were promising. It's like leveraging the collective experience that our team has to bring products that are going to deliver 25 milligrams of CBD every single time, that are going to taste great and kind of give you that craveable experience where consumers going to try it and then come back because it worked and it tasted great. So that's kind of been our ethos since the beginning. And, we took off like a rocket ship right out of the gate. And it's been, man, almost 4 years now at this point, from the time we started. And we're, seeing the category evolve and, really become mainstream. Our products are now across the country and Wegmans and Sprouts and New Seasons, like coast to coast. And it's been, really rewarding experience to put this into so many different markets and see the consumer reactions that are really positive across the board. It's been an amazing journey so far, and we're only just beginning.
Yeah, I think the you can tell us a lot more about it, but the fact that CBD, I think, is still somewhat in an infancy stage, I believe, because there's still a lot of people that have not tried it, or they're maybe afraid of it, or
Yeah,
they associate it with like weed and all these things, and they're not educated on what the benefits are. But I can imagine that you're
yeah,
kind of tap dancing on, okay, I want to get these lines in the stores. They're beneficial for people. They really help. But then there's the regulation where some stores are still not allowing it. So
right.
when is that floodgate? We don't know exactly. When is that floodgate going to open where this can go to a Kroger, this can go to a Safeway, this can go to a Whole Foods? Tell us more about your thoughts
Yeah.
on when that will happen.
I think every single one of those retailers you just mentioned are in the wings waiting for this to happen. They're seeing what the spins data is, what the retail data is for all of those retailers I mentioned previously, and they're seeing some numbers that are pretty strong, as a category, and especially in the leading brands at the top of the heap. So I think that number one, there's got to be an act of Congress to allow the FDA to adjust their rules. And so there's three bills in Congress right now. Obviously, the priorities have been elsewhere over the last 2 years, so it's kind of been a slow process, but I'm really optimistic that this year, we get across the finish line legislatively and bring CBD, or at least break the barriers that are keeping some of these retailers on the sidelines. And I mean, you can't blame some of these guys. There's, some of the retailers you mentioned, they're lightning rods for class action lawsuits, and there's
Hmm.
people looking to hunt them down for things. So, we really want to, our mission is to share as much information about what we've done, what other retailers have been able to do with this so far, and help grease the skids as much as possible. Because the thing that's been amazing, Alex, is ever since we started selling these products, we get calls from folks of all walks of life that are consuming our beverages, and it's making a positive impact on their life. There's a gal from Lenexa, Kansas. She's an older woman, and she calls me to place an order, and we ship it right to her. And she tells me every single time how much this has helped her. And she's not going to use her computer, but she has our phone number. So that all the way down to young people in urban areas and across the country. So it is this category is still in its infancy, and I think it's poised for some massive growth as soon as there's just a little bit of daylight shed on the legislative action that needs to take place.
Exactly. Well, what's interesting is that I'm seeing that Sprouts is really taking kind of the initial charge as far as a big national, just non-regional, but
Yeah.
literally national retailer that's taking a chance on CBD. And I remember
Eh,
going to their innovation area in the stores in this little kind of square area, and I saw CBD products. So it seems like they're taking the charge. And I mean,
yeah.
how did they do this? Yet the other chains are not doing it.
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, multi-million dollar question, as it
Yeah.
turns out. They're a publicly traded company that, went to Colorado to start off with. There's 32 Sprout stores. They usually don't isolate by regions like this, but they did for CBD because they wanted to test and see how it went. And I mean, to see how our velocities have grown over the last 2 years doing this with Sprouts, I mean, there are 3 stores in the Denver area where our brand is in the top 50 brands in the store. And that's from dog food to diapers. And I mean, I can be more excited about that. I will never forget going around to all of the Sprouts accounts last summer, and we didn't really realize this, but you walk into these stores, and when a store manager greets you like, "Oh, I love your brand. You guys kick ass. Everybody loves it here." And it's just like, okay, let's do a case stack, you know, stack them high, watch them fly. So it's been, they're showing that if you do this in the right way and are smart about following the regulatory lines, that um, you can do this safely and in a way where you follow the state level regulations, and you're not going to have any problems. At least they haven't had any problems yet. So it's exciting with California coming on now with the I think it was AB 45 that passed back in November of 21.
Hmm.
That's really opened up California in a way that we've been waiting for 2 years now. So I'm excited about the traction we've picked up there already, and excited to bring CBD to everybody in the state.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we're in California, Manhattan Beach, so I'm applauding that even more,
Yeah,
the fact that
there
we're
you
in
go.
California. So love that and
Yeah,
love to hear that. And what's really interesting, not to get too political, but it's like there's beer, there's cigarette, and there's alcohol, there's cigarettes, there's things that are so much more harmful that are being sold. And maybe not, Sprouts is not selling cigarettes or anything, but I'm just saying in general, convenience stores in different areas that are really
yeah,
much more damaging to people than CBD. So it's very ironic where this is
yeah,
really being kept from the public. And I mean,
yeah.
I think it's bullshit. And I think it's really a pharmaceutical play. And we all know that. It's a
Yeah,
pharmaceutical
it's
play.
tough. I mean, you look at, sugar in beverages. I mean, if you get a can of Coke, it's got 40 or 45
Yep.
grams of sugar per can. That's like, you shouldn't have more than that in a day. And that's one 12-ounce can.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's an ingredient that has a direct link to diabetes and all sorts of health issues. But yet CBD here, that an ingredient that we figured out how to make stable and really clean, and um, it helps people in a myriad of ways, and that is being prohibited. It's a it's a head scratcher, that's for sure.
For sure. Yeah. It's really just, it's upside down. Everything is backwards. But it all comes
Yeah,
back. I mean, I still have this really firm belief that it all comes back to what we decide. When more and more people are educated, it might take years where they're going to buy something that's better for them versus something that's going to harm them. We vote with our pocketbooks, and there are companies that have had to change their entire ingredient and formula because people stopped buying their products. So it's going to
right.
happen at some point. It might take another 10 years or 15 years, but every
Ooh, I
single
hope
day,
not.
yeah, at least in general, just
I'm yeah. I mean,
just overarching. Yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
one of the interesting things, I mean, we right before Expo West, we announced that our brand is moving into the THC category in the state of Colorado to start off with. So we're launching, under the Weller brand, a low potency THC beverage with 5 milligrams of THC, 5 milligrams of CBD. And what we realized is, the number of folks out there that are buying our CBD products as an alternative to alcohol that are, we've got a beloved brand, especially here in Colorado, that is going to translate really well into that alternative category. And, not only like entering into a known market where, we know how many dispensaries there are in Colorado, we know how many consumers there are, we're not waiting, on some corporate attorney to say, yes, CBD is great. Go ahead and sell it in our store, so it gives us a different marketplace. But I think what's really great about it is that folks that are truly interested in cannabis in general, that are intimidated by vaping or smoking or even the terrible edible experiences that so many people have had, we're bringing our trusted brand into the dispensary in a way that I don't think there's any other brand that can. You can't go buy, you know, one brand at Sprouts Farmers Market and then go pick up the THC version in the dispensary. There's not other options for that. So I think we're really excited to see how to put this product out there and start to change the game again. And it's an exciting evolution. I mean, especially from where we came from, interested in THC, focused on CBD, and now coming back around, 4 years later to, all right, we can safely, cautiously, and appropriately put a THC product into the market and be really proud and excited about it. And kind of bring that non-stoner ethos into that environment and, attract a whole new set of consumers.
Exactly. I think, yeah, I mean, the big thing is that you're really bridging and getting people that are very health conscious, but also that have
Yeah.
challenges or issues or whatever it is. Like sometimes I get anxiety or get nervous, or other people, feel depressed or they feel tired or
Yep.
whatever it is. But literally, or they want more focus, like mental focus, and there's like a lot of brain fog going on. So I think there's a millions of people that want to be healthier, that are scared of just weed in general. Like they don't want, they just see the negative stigma with weed. And I love how your
Yeah.
marketing is all about bridging that person in to say, no, this is not going to make you dumb. This is not going to make you slow. This is actually going to accelerate and be functional for you. So with
Right.
dispensaries, with go to market, how many dispensaries are there in the country? I mean, there's got to be a few thousand, right? At least. There's a
Yeah,
lot.
there's more than a few thousand at this point. There's more coming in the near term. I mean, I'm focused right now in Colorado. It's going to be our initial launch
It's
state.
probably
So,
several hundred just in
there,
Colorado alone, right?
yeah, I think we're at total dispensaries, medical and rec here. There's over 1,000.
Wow.
Um, we certainly won't be targeting that many, but it's, you know, getting us in the right locations and the right type of dispensary is, I mean, it's just like any other beverage business. Like if we're going to go to the A accounts, you look for, a certain set of stores within a chain or however you want to describe it. It's not quite like that with the dispensary space, but it's, there's some allegories that we can, take our experience from years and years in natural products and apply it right to this new space.
So, question I have, which is, I've been hearing more and more about terpenes. Like terpenes, are they going to
Yeah.
become big? Are they not? What are the functional benefits of terpenes? Can you tell our viewers more about what is a terpene? And I've talked about this with
Yeah.
other CBD brands that have been on our show, but is it going to become big? Is it the next big thing with CBD? Tell us more of your thoughts on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So terpenes ultimately are flavor compounds that are in all sorts of uh, food products. So, there's limonene, there's linalool, there's caryophyllene. Caryophyllene in black pepper. Limonene is in citrus. Linalool comes from lavender as well. And so there are these flavor compounds that work in harmony with the cannabinoids to basically create what is a sativa, an indica, and a hybrid as far as breaking it down into, we'll say, those three categories. So indica strains are going to have higher concentrations of certain terpenes. Sativa strains are going to have higher concentrations of others, like the caryophyllene and myrcene and limonene. And they respond in harmony and kind of help create an energetic effect or a calming effect or somewhere in between. And that's like a real simplified version of this. So, for our THC beverages, we're actually keeping strain specific profiles. So we'll have a sativa line that's a tropical peach flavor, an indica line that is blackberry hibiscus, and then the hybrid line, which is a starfruit lime flavor. And like starfruit lime has blue dream strain terpenes in it. So there's a connection between the historical flower element. Northern Lights is our indica strain that we use. And then uh, I'm blanking on our sativa off the top of my head, but the sativa is, I think, sour diesel, which is a really popular strain that both bud tenders and experienced consumers are going to relate to. So, each of those have a little bit of a different effect, and that's what I think there is going to be a huge future in cannabis, centered around the terpene profiles and how they interact with the THC to elevate, sedate, increase appetite, across the board. It is some fascinating science, and it's really understudied because of the history of cannabis in general. And I'm looking forward to the constant innovation and understanding of what's to come here.
Yeah, there is, like you said, a lot to come. New brands entering, the CBD floodgates opening, terpenes
Yeah.
coming, and I'm really looking forward to the pharmaceutical industries getting crushed by this, like because they have been around for too long. Sorry, Mark
Yeah.
Cuban. I know Mark Cuban just started a business in pharmaceuticals and making it more affordable. God bless him. But you don't need pharmaceuticals unless, I mean, maybe for certain conditions you have to have them, right? Arguably, and I'm not a doctor. But for most of the anxieties or depression or focus, ADHD, you can solve this or at least help it, I would say, with CBD and terpenes, right? So that's the part that like I really want to see. I want to see that kind of progress, like someone going from a Coca-Cola to an Olipop, right? I want to see them go from pharmaceutical to Weller, right? So
Yeah.
hopefully
I
we
like that.
we will get there, right? It's just education and time.
Yeah.
How are you
I
educating
I think
consumers on just the benefits? Like how do you do that on your can? How do you do that in stores? Is it social media? Like how do you get people to
you
understand
know
the benefits?
Yeah, this is our new flavor that we launched at Expo West. It's a peach mango CBD. But what you're gonna see here is that we just have two facings on our can. We don't have romance copy or anything on there that is gonna, give some flowery explanation of what you're gonna experience here. What we have found, and I'm a believer in this, is that anybody that is interested in CBD specifically is going to do their own homework on it. And they're going to learn a bit and see if it's working. The research, at least from like polling data out there, shows that there is a ton of awareness around CBD. And so our mission in our products was to deliver that CBD, with some science behind it, because, I did a research project with our team here, where we established kind of what was happening inside the can with the CBD molecules, and tried to make sure that, well, not try to make sure, absolutely make sure that 25 milligrams of CBD remains in that can through the life of the product, so that we could deliver it. Because if CBD helps you as a human being, and you try our product and it has the effect that you're expecting, then you're going to come back time and time again. And so that's what we've had to rely on, especially with how tight the FDA has been on any claims or things that can't be scientifically substantiated. So we've taken a very cautious approach. We got a lot of brand ambassadors out there and a lot of support in retail outlets that have helped bridge the gap between our brand and the knowledge of CBD. And I mean, the truth of the matter is every single person is different. The endocannabinoid system, which is the receptors for CBD, THC, CBN, all of the cannabinoids, everybody is a little bit different. It's like tolerance for alcohol or tolerance for sleep deprivation. Like everybody's a little bit different, right? So I know plenty of people that can consume hundreds of milligrams of CBD and not really feel anything. Myself personally, I could drink a can of Weller and within 10 minutes, I feel this like stress relief and relaxation kind of come over me. And it's professionally, it's been a huge blessing, like to be able to crack open our own product and be like, okay, we can tackle this, So
Very cool.
that's kind of where we sit on it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, it's a great story, and we're running out of time. I want to make sure I get to this next segment here. But if anyone wants to buy your product, find it. You cannot buy CBD drinks online right now, right?
You can buy it on our website,
Okay.
welleru.com.
welleru.com. Make sure to check it out. Make sure to buy the product. Also go to Sprouts to go, you can go there, and the product's available there. Let's get to our next segment here, which is called Rapid Fire Questions. Rapid Fire Questions. All right. So you got your CBD loaded, so you'll get through these pretty quickly with your level of focus right now. All right, so let's go through it fast as we can, question by question. Just give an answer, first thing that pops in your head. Here we go. For music, which decade is the best, the 70s, 80s, or 90s?
90s.
What do you do for exercise?
A lot of biking and Orange Theory.
Okay, Orange Theory. Movie you can watch an unlimited amount of times?
Spaceballs.
Spaceballs, love that one. Chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla.
Favorite country to travel to?
Switzerland.
Favorite Star Wars character?
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yep, first time anyone's ever said him on all the times we've asked it. First time ever. Everyone says either Yoda or Luke Skywalker or Harrison Ford. I got a couple Chewbaccas, but never Obi-Wan Kenobi. Use the Force, Luke. Do you like to drive an SUV? I skipped one. What is your spirit animal?
Oh, man. A trout.
Trout. Interesting. First time anyone's answered that. Swimming upstream. Swimming upstream.
That's right.
Do you like to drive an SUV, a coupe, or a truck?
An SUV.
For food, salty or sweet?
Salty.
Favorite day of the week and why?
I'm going to go with Friday.
Good choice.
Because it's like, I mean, if you've done it right, you've conquered a lot in that week, and it feels good to wrap it up at the end of the day.
So make sure to accomplish a lot or you'll feel like crap on Friday. That's the moral of the story.
Right.
Uber.
That's right.
Uber or Lyft?
Uber.
Greatest of all time, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, or Kobe Bryant?
Jordan.
All the way. Terminator 1 or Terminator 2? Which one do you like better?
Terminator 1.
Really? Okay.
The original.
The original. It is the original, but 2's better. All right. Favorite food or drink if you were stuck on a deserted island and you cannot say Weller, you cannot say Genius Juice.
Oh, man. I'm going to go with a mojito.
Mojito. Perfect for the tropical weather. There you go.
That's right.
All right. So that is
quickly dehydrated, but that's all right.
So rapid fire questions with Matt Oscamou. This is a great drink. All right. So thank you, sir, for joining us, and especially on short notice. And great to meet you in person as well. And keep kicking ass. Let's get CBD into every state in the country and eventually worldwide. Let's do it.
Sounds good. Thanks, Alex. I really appreciate it.
You got it, my friend. Have a good night. Take care.
All right.
All right, so that's episode 135, I believe, of 15 Minutes of Genius. Big plug to Mark Nicholas, Mark at ManaBeatStudios.net. He can do podcasts. He can do video, audio, the whole enchilada. I like enchiladas. You can tell I'm hungry. Make sure to reach out to him. So I think that is it. One last thing. Stay focused and CBD friendly and genius, my friends.
Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you.